Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover Warren 20 here, and I'm here the third with the third and final review of the third and final installment of the prequel trilogy, and what should have been the last Star Wars movie to be released, well, except for Rogue One, The Mandalorian, and the show The Mandalorian, and the Clone Wars final season, but yeah, this should have been the final live action movie that's part of a Skywalker saga, not a side story, to go to theaters. And that review is for none other than my fourth favorite Star Wars movie of all time, and my favorite movie of the prequel trilogy, and my favorite prequel of all time, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Oh yeah. This has a pretty interesting story, so, believe it or not guys, this was the very first Star Wars movie I saw in the theaters. And this has kind of an interesting story. So, we all know how I got into Star Wars. I found the VHS box set of the original trilogy in a garage. My parents immediately then popped on A New Hope. Then, of course, what I didn't know was there were also two other prequels out at the time while I was getting hooked into the original trilogy. Okay, what else? Okay, so I watched those, and I also enjoyed them. But then I also don't know. So one day, as I'm that second grade kid, go to the theater, and I see a poster for Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. It's coming out in 2 months. Yeah, this was in March 2005 when I saw this poster. And I was so pumped. And so the movie did come out. Okay, me and my parents drive down to the theater to see it, but unfortunately, that night, it was already sold out. I think it was opening weekend or the weekend after, but it was one of those weekends. It was around the time it had already come out. So unfortunately, we couldn't see it that night. But we were going to go see it to the matinee showing on Sunday. So instead, that night, we saw this movie, which was pretty funny. Also pretty funny, also pretty good too. But however, our Star Wars wait was not going to be wasted. We didn't see it Sunday night, we saw it Sunday matinee because, well, Monday morning at that time I still had to go to the elementary school. This was back when I had school, guys. And yeah, then we saw Episode 3, Sunday matinee. Gold. I was very glad this was the first Star Wars movie I got to see in theaters. Just very, very enjoyed it. I think this is the fourth best Star Wars movie of all time. Easily behind the original trilogy. And we'll get to why in a little bit. But until then, let's see. What is this movie about? Well, 3 years have passed. 3 years have passed since Attack of the Clones, when the Clone Wars had begun at the end. Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi and Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker are now considered war heroes. And have set off on a mission to rescue Chancellor Palpatine from General Grievous and Count Dooku during a fierce battle with Coruscant. Once they get to Palpatine, Anakin and Obi-Wan re-challenge Dooku to their duel they lost in Attack of the Clones. Anakin ends up disarming Dooku by slicing off his hands. Yeah, this was... No, it was not the first time someone's body parts got dismembered in Revenge of the Sith, but... I was about to say that, but I actually realized it was the third time. So anyway, fourth. So Palpatine gives the order, kill him now, and you already get that sense of fear on Dooku's face, which you can already tell that Palpatine is not to be trusted, and it's pretty much about to come full circle why he never should have been trusted this whole time. Like, it pretty much, and it also does perfectly well in foreshadowing Palpatine later trying to get Luke to kill Anakin, or Vader, once he had become, 16 years later, would foreshadow that. Anakin tries to resist, but Palpatine's all like, do it! And he kills Dooku in the process. And eventually they return back with Palpatine, and a few days after they get back, Obi-Wan is dispatched to hunt down and eliminate Grievous. suspicions start to get raised with the Jedi Council concerning Palpatine, with whom Anakin has formed a bond with. Once he had got, and also when they got back, Padme announces to Anakin that she's pregnant, which Anakin feels overjoyed with. But with that, he'll be a father. However, also disaster strikes that night, as he starts to have horrific visions of Padme dying during childbirth. So he goes to Palpatine to see how he can put an end to this. Yeah, and the rest of Anakin's story just go to the dark side goes on from there. He's later asked to spy on the Chancellor and felt bitterness towards the Jedi Council because they did not grant him the rank of Master. Anakin is tempted towards the dark side by Darth Sidious, Palpatine's true identity. We already know that's his true identity, guys. It's not a shock. Alright. Here's why this film rocks. 1. It's the best of the prequel trilogy, although Phantom Menace is also good, but it's definitely a massive step up from Attack of the Clones, which once again I do not hate, guys. I just think it's just okay, really, but this is definitely the superior follow-up to Phantom Menace. And it really perfectly ends this trilogy on a high note, and it perfectly sets up the original trilogy. Very well, with tons of great scenes that make it the darkest Star Wars movie ever. Yeah, guys, Empire Strikes Back is dark too, but this was way darker than Empire Strikes Back. I think this is the closest Star Wars ever gets to almost being rated R. Yeah, and then Disney claims Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker are much darker than all 6 George Lucas films. Fuck that. No, it ain't. And there's very good callbacks and connections to the original trilogy. And it brings about major changes to the Star Wars universe, namely the transition of the Galactic Republic into the Galactic Empire and the destruction of the Jedi Order. The CGI and special effects are a major step up from the first 2 prequels. I mean, yeah, they're actually still they're still a little dated, but they're a little less dated than those films. The opening scene just goes above and beyond, from the space battle where Coruscant to the droid attacks to the lightsaber duels. General Grievous and Darth Sidious are awesome villains, and both villains are crucial to the plot. Some brilliant cinematography. It's pretty clear that George Lucas had mastered digital cinematography with this film, with everything looking sharp and clear. Still, the amazing soundtrack from John Williams, especially Battle of the Heroes. The battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin / Darth Vader on Mustafar is very epic and my third lightsaber duel of all time. And the little interaction they have that leads up to the duel. Duel is also very epic, too. While the acting still has its flaws, it's better than the first 2 prequels, like Hayden Christensen, who I didn't mind Attack of the Clones, but there were times when his acting could have used a bit of work. Is actually really phenomenal in this movie. Performance as Anakin Skywalker in this film compared to his okay performance in Attack is very amazing, especially when he becomes Darth Vader. You see the conflict and it really well explains why that Anakin was actually Luke's father, which may seem surprising to some. It explains his fall to the dark side in a way that's really convincing, and some memorable lines such as "a fine addition to my collection." I love that. Or how about this? It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. And let's not forget Darth Vader's infamously now memed to death. No. Yeah. Yeah. What else can I think? And of course, the scene when Darth Sidious issues Order 66 and manipulates the whole clone army into turning on the Jedi Order is both very horrifying and emotional at the same time. Well, may not be impactful to some people, but it is more impactful if you watch the Clone Wars and then this film, and it makes it way more horrific and emotional. Now, yeah, there's still some bad qualities here and there, but the boring politics scenes are still here, but they're not as focused as they are in the first 2. The CGI can still hamper the actions and still use the situations where it isn't needed. The green screens are sometimes painfully obvious to notice. too. But there's some kind of lame death scenes, like General Grievous kind of has a lame death, and even Mace Windu kind of... Nah, Mace Windu had a kind of a cool death. General Grievous kind of had a very lame death. And while the acting is better in the... There's still some flawed acting here and there. Grievous seems a little underwhelming compared to his appearance in Clone Wars, with him being more cowardly, and there's another thing about him. So there's times when he even coughs in the beginning, even though he's a robot. Robots don't cough. But I don't think that's too big of a bad quality, really, to worry about. So yeah. So honestly, and the ending is a very good setup for the prequels. No, not the prequels. The original trilogy. Obi-Wan and Yoda go into self-exile since Palpatine has now successfully taken over the galaxy and formed the Galactic Empire. Yoda goes to that forest planet he hid on an empire. Be ready for when Luke comes to complete his Jedi training with him. Padme is buried. Padme has that funeral memorial, and I forget that our general's name, but he definitely adopts Leia. That's pretty much on that home planet that's soon going to be destroyed by the Death Star in 16 years. And Obi-Wan returns to Tatooine to give baby Luke to Owen and Beru to look after. And Obi-Wan just looks as Beru walks off with baby Luke, and he leaves to go into self-exile, ready for the day when it's time for Luke to begin his Jedi training in A New Hope. And Owen and Beru just look at the two sunsets as that great throwback to Stars of New Hope, as that binary sunset theme plays, plays in episode 4 when Luke looked at those two sunsets, wondering when he was going to be able to get off the planet and go fight the Empire. This time, Owen and Beru look at the two sunsets, and with that, the whole galaxy has a new hope, thus leading into the Star Wars Episode 4. And with that shot, the original trilogy begins. A very good way to end the prequel trilogy. So yeah, like I said, this is my fourth favorite film in the Star Wars series, and I don't think I need to tell you to watch it because you've obviously watched it. And with that, here's how I am going to rank it, obviously. I am going to give Revenge of the Sith a 9 out of 10. Alright, with that, we have officially completed the prequel trilogy. And, of course, I wonder what's next. Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. I know what that means, what's next. Oh, no. No. I'd rather burn on Mustafar than review those two other shitty films we got afterwards. Especially that one notoriously shitty Star Wars film you all know the name of. I would do anything and have to review that. Oh. Well, gotta review it. What it is. Anyway, that'll be a first review. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, then don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.